dealership here in town, and we sell new Toyotas. Most of you know also that I sell used cars. Most of you know that I have a value used car lot, 12,000 under, but I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to have a little fun tonight. So first of all, I'm going to draw two numbers out of here. We're going to have a little contest, a little fun thing, see how much you know about our head coach. So final question. What's Jimbo's middle name?
Aloysius?
No. What's Jimbo's middle name?
Bo?
No. This is one of the events every year that comes up. It's always, for me anyway, that starts, I know the football season is about to begin, and that's when I start getting excited. Hopefully you feel the same way too. And last time, we had a little bit of a question mark about who the quarterback was going to be and what he was going to do. I think our season turned out pretty well. So let's welcome our head coach, Jimbo Fisher, up here to talk about it.
I can tell we haven't lost yet this year.
That didn't get me about an hour ago when I first got in here. You got a different talk, I promise. I'll calm down now. That's why I was late. Would have been a little different, but that's what camp's about. And you know, I probably could get a better response, and you would enjoy it more if I just said, "Okay, what questions do you want to know?"
Just let you raise your hands. But you know, the interesting thing right now, I don't know. Maybe that scares y'all a little bit. But you know, it kind of intrigues me. I like this team, but I don't know where it's at yet. I really don't. I think it's a very talented group of athletes. But, you know, as I've said before, you've heard me say in all my preseason talks at the ACC meetings on ESPN when I did 29 shows in about 8 hours. I'm going to tell you what, now, that's a racket up there. That's unbelievable. But I really don't know. And I think I've got an idea at times, and then that idea changes. You ever have kids? And you think you know them? And then they kind of change on you as it goes on, day, and not only week by week, but day by day. It drives you crazy, doesn't it? But that's kind of where we're at. But you know what's funny? That's kind of where I thought we'd be at. I think that's what good, young, talented football players do, and I think it's sometimes people say, well, that's bad when the competition gets that way. Sometimes I don't look at it that way. To me, it just shows that one guy gets up, the other guy behind him says, you know something, he's passing me up, I want to go get up and pass him up. And sometimes it's a really good thing. But, you know, we're finding out a lot about ourselves right now. We really are. And we've said, it's funny, we have a speaker here today, Tim Brown, just recently got elected in the College Football Hall of Fame, and was a great grade 8 player at Notre Dame. Hey, I like Notre Dame too. I'm 2-0. I had to do it. No, it's good. But you know, he was over there and he was saying something. We were talking before practice. He was talking to some of our coaches, and he's exactly right. I think kids are bigger, they're faster, they're stronger than they've ever been. But what we don't know, because of our society today, I don't know if they're better football players. I don't know how tough people are. I don't know how much heart and grit they have, because people, like you say, we're in that world of instant gratification and everything's okay and everybody gets a trophy and all that stuff goes on. Well, at our level, you don't get a trophy unless you win. And you don't get to play unless you're real good. And sometimes kids don't understand that. And that's the intriguing thing that I think right now is, you know, Coach Hickman, as he said back in the days, he's coached for 40 years, you do a justice to a young man when he plays football. I think football is totally different than any sport. And I'm kind of getting off track. I know you want to hear about your Seminoles, but I'm kind of telling you a little bit about this football team. Football is a game that it's not easy. People say, well, it's fun, I want to go play. Well, tell me what's fun about football. Really, when you get right down to it, when you get right down to it, what's really fun? Let me tell you what's fun. When you stand in the locker room and you won a big game after you put in so much hard work and you paid a price that most people won't pay, and you're battered, you're bruised, you're sore, that takes a different breed of cat. That takes a different breed of cat. That's why it's turned into America's game. There's a respect for football players that's different than any other sport. And I love basketball. I play basketball. I played baseball. I went to Clemson. I went to play college baseball. I did all that. Loved it. Football's just different. And I think right now maybe football coaches may be more important to those young kids in athletics now than ever because they're not the same as they were years ago. They haven't had to pay a price. They haven't had to grind. And that's what I think we're into right now. I think we're having to find out who likes to grind. And I don't think you're ever a great football player until you like to grind. Because there's too much about football that's hard that people just don't like to do. And that's either your DNA or it's not. And when it's not your DNA, and that gets exposed in front of 83,000 folks on Saturday night, that's a tough pill to swallow. So I think right now we're in those dog days or two-a-days, and while I'm late, I kind of got upset at the end of the day, didn't like it, and we did about a 25-play live goal line scrimmage, and I found out how much they liked it. A lot of them didn't like it, some of them did. You kind of found out. We're going to have a bunch more up here in the next week and a half, I promise you that. We're going to find out what we're doing.
Because today, I don't know if you don't do a kid the injustice by not pushing. Because I don't think all these guys have been pushed because of the way ball is today. And this team is I say this about this team though. People ask me, do you like it? I said, if it was a person, I'd hang out with it.
I really would. I respect its effort. I respect its tenacity. I respect its ability to say yes sir, no sir. But what I don't respect yet is its consistency. And to me, that's what athletics is all about. At the end of the day, when you break it down, like people say, what makes a good quarterback, coach? What's all these qualities? There's an abundance of qualities that you have to be a great quarterback. And everyone has different ones. It's a combination of either 3, 4, or 5 things, and you feature them. But at the end of the day, can he make good decisions? Is he accurate with the ball? What's a great receiver? Does he get open? Does he catch the ball? You can say everything in the world you want. Does he get open? Does he catch the ball? What's a good linebacker? Does he make plays or not? What's a good football team? Does it play with consistency or not? Does it line up 70 or 80 or 90 plays a game, whatever side the ball is on? Does it do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? And there's a key word in that. Doesn't get bored. Doesn't get bored. And our society today gets bored. We get bored with winning. We get bored with consistency because it ain't like we think it should be. It ain't as flashy as it should be. It isn't this. It isn't that. It's my opinion. I want that. Jeff, I love you, but daggone, we don't need no more talk shows. You do a great job. Because everybody's got one. And that's what makes this game amazing. But at the end of the day, each team has to develop a personality and an attitude. They're like children. I say, if you haven't heard me say that before, I believe that. Each team is a child. And I asked you about your children. You have 3 or 4 of them. You have to have multiple children. Same DNA, same church, same school, same grandparents. Are they the same? Never are. And if people don't understand, a football team, say, why isn't it like last year's team? Well, a football team has a 1-year life expectancy. Understand that. That group of guys will never, ever, 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 ever be together more than 1 year. That's the entire time. It's a 1-year life expectancy. And really, it's about 6 months when you really add the freshmen. And then because as a coach, people say, well, you got those great guys coming. Yeah, all right, you did them 6 months, and you kind of got the DNA of that team right, and you start looking right. And you bring in 25 spoiled guys that y'all have told how great they are, and how quick they're going to play, and what they're going to do, and everybody's going to do, and you throw them right in the middle of that group that you've had just about the way you want them. That's what camp does. Now you start over again. Now they really got 6 months until they play the last game of that DNA being together. And that's where we're at right now.
Is what it's about. And I don't think I've ever had more fun. I really don't. I don't think I've ever had more fun. I think I'm as excited to coach this team this year, maybe as much as any team I've had. Because it is, it's like a child, you see, when your son or your daughter is at home and you know he's in the classroom and you know how smart he can be, but he still can't make that A+ on the test. But he has the ability to do it, he just doesn't have to quite study right, doesn't have to read enough, doesn't pay quite enough price to be that elite student. Or on the field, he can do this, or whatever he's doing. It's that way with this team. This team can be one of those teams. It has the talent to be one of those teams. Whether it's going to be one of those teams, I couldn't tell you.
There's a legacy you owe, not only to the fans, but to the ex-players who paid the price before you. I think getting across legacy to kids now is harder than ever. All these things are hard. But at the same time, this team has me extremely, extremely excited to coach them because they have the qualities to be there. Just how quick can we get there? Everybody says, now who had the question about the schedule? About how it laid out? It's pretty easy. Hey, no, there's never an easy game. You ain't never coached. I promise. I'm joking with you, but it is. But, you know, the key to this team has got to get better every week. And some of the best teams I've ever been on, we've had championship runs, we've had championship seasons, are teams that get better every time. Because the thing they have to have is a hunger to be great. If you have a hunger to be great, you're willing to pay the price, you'll have passion, you'll have priorities, you'll eliminate the clutter, and you'll do the things you have to do. But I found out that's why we're trying to find out right now who really wants to play. Because I've ever found out if you have passion, and you're passionate about something, you figure out how it is. You figure out how to get it. If it's a candy bar, if you want mom to buy you a toy at the store when you go to Walmart, if it's whatever it may be. Kids figure out ways to do things and get things that they're passionate about. And what we're trying to find out now is how much passion they really have. I'll say this, be excited. Be really excited. Because I think this is going to be a very good year.
The season sets up really well. You know, the camp's going well, but the season, the way, you know, we opened up with Texas State, and we got South Florida, a lovely 11:30 game. ESPN threw right on us, didn't it? But it is. Then we go to BC, and we go to Wake, which is always tough places to play. And we keep getting back to Miami, Louisville, and Georgia Tech. And, you know, the league's going to be really good. I really do. I think it's getting better and better each year. I think the talent levels people know in the ACC is, we would say, the second most players drafted last year. In our division, what's funny about, you talking about college football playoff and all that, we need to figure out, get some guys on there and figure out how to figure out who's good and who's not good first. Because, you know, they were talking about us, we didn't have a week schedule, but the division that we played in, the Atlantic division of the ACC, had more players drafted than any division in college football.
The teacher went to my aunt, who was at the secretary of the school, and she said, I think your nephew John has a hearing problem. And she kept saying it, and my aunt didn't even pay attention to her. She said, well, her name was Juanita. She said, Juanita, would you listen? She said, wait, I need to get your nephew John tested for his hearing problem. He does not listen. He's in trouble every day. She said, what? She said, what'd you call him? She said, John. She said, try Jimbo. So she started calling me Jimbo after about the first month. I never got in trouble again. I never knew who she was talking to. I never knew my name. My teacher, I never knew my own name. How about that? I went to school and didn't know who I was. I thought it was somebody else. That's a true story. That's a true story. It's great to be with y'all. And I'm serious. It's going to be a great season. It's going to be a really fun team to support and be behind. So I think it can be just as good. I really do, folks. We just got to get them there, okay? Thank y'all very much.